Hi, Holly. I'm trying to see if I can. Hi, Candy. I don't know if that's going to work with my phone sitting right there, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I've got my camera down really low. Hi, all. Thanks for hopping in. Hi, Mary, Jane, Becky, Renee. I think it's Renee, right? Little red wagon. Renee. Hey, Deb. Thanks for joining us today through the hop. We had some challenges, but you can see we're real people, real gals who just love to art. So thanks for joining us. You have to tell me if my camera's down a little. Is my camera down too low, Holly? Do you think? Should I bring it up a little? Let's see. Hey, Joyce. Peggy. All right, ladies, I'm going to just jump right in. 30 minutes sometimes goes a little quick. And you'll see here that Beth and I are kind of on the same page. My idea tonight was Christmas card tags, which I think the Christmas card kind of got lost in the translation. But it's all good. Beth did clusters on the fronts of her cards. So we all have greeting cards. Folks send them to us. And I don't know about you, but I have a hard time throwing them away. So usually what I do is I tear the back off and just save the front of the card of the ones I'm especially fond of. And so then I started making some tags. And you can use these for your journal book, or to put them on a package, certainly. But if you have a daily December journal or a Christmas journal, these would work as well. And you can do them with any card. It doesn't have to be Christmas. Birthday cards, if you get some cards from your kids that you really love, you could fashion those into a tag and then add them to a journal. And so here's just a couple that I put together for samples. This one, the front of the card was two-sided, which I thought was kind of unique. And so I just left that as it was and just decorated it with some pretty ribbon. I like a big, fluffy, fibrous top on the tags that I make. This one I just thought was beautiful. And so when I trimmed it down to the size that I wanted, I just kept a little bit of the card, the bottom of the card, and just wrote, "Oh, Christmas tree." But you could use a stamp or not do that. And then I just used some lace and some muslin and whatnot to decorate the top. And then I stamp on the back, to and from. You could handwrite that if you don't have a to and from stamp. Anything would really work. Or if you wanted to write a personal message, you could do that as well. And then this one, he's a little wide, but I didn't want to trim off the tree. So you can kind of do what you want. And this was the sentiment or the greeting inside the card. So I saved that as well. And then just put a little bit of fabric and cheesecloth. That just never comes to me. And you decorate the corner. And of course, I'm having trouble with my stamp. It doesn't stamp clean there, but you get the idea. So some cards, certainly to me at least, lend themselves more to making a tag than maybe others. This one, I got it started partially and got it trimmed up. My sisters send really beautiful Christmas cards. So this is a card from one of my sisters, and I just think he's beautiful. Now, he's a really long card. Normally, I would not make my tags this long, but like, where do you cut it? So I just left him the way that he was. Now, I didn't do the fluffy stuff at the top yet. But the other thing I was thinking is that sometimes you might want to wrap up a little something for someone, but your gift really to them is perhaps a gift card. So you don't want to give a card, a gift card, wrap a present. So if you do a tag, you can put a pocket on the back. And you can slip your gift card in the tag pocket if you can get your fingers to work. And then you can do your to and from. You can make your little sentiment or give a little. And then you can add that to a, maybe a smaller gift or a package. And then you've got your gift card on the back of the tag. So I thought that was, might be a fun idea for you. So we might get to this one. And sometimes just instead of using the card, I trim them out. Now this one, I really thought the image was pretty, but it was so white. So I just went and cut another piece of cardstock to contrast that white a little bit and added it to the back. And then I just stamped a sentiment. Of course, I'd like to ink my edges. You don't necessarily have to do that. And then because the cardstock was dark and I happened to use one that's embossed, it would be really hard to write, a to and from or anything on there. So I just added a piece of, this is just some, manila folder that I trimmed down and stamped my to and from, added a couple little holly leaves. And so we'll put some ribbons in that too. So I wanted to show you how I cut them. Now, normally what I do is, like I said, I don't save the whole card generally. I usually just go through the cards at the end of the season, tear them off and save them. Now, this one I think was just so pretty, and it's got a really nice sentiment here as well. So I'm thinking this could make 2 cards. So for something like a 2 tag, so for something like this, I would even up my edge. I didn't want to pre-cut everything in case there are some of you who may not be a seasoned crafter and may want to understand how you go about it right from the beginning. So I'm going to trim this, and I'm going to lose a little bit probably of my little berries coming off of that wreath. I'm going to try to get as close, but I want to save the God Bless You at Christmas because I think I can make that a card too. So it's like judgment call because I don't measure. And I'm going to take a little bit off of this side. Now, some of you may have one of those chomper tools too that give you the nice little angled corners. I struggle with that. I don't do them well just on the fly by eyeballing it. I'm going to take just a little bit off of the side here. And I'm going to leave the bottom, I think, and maybe just take a little bit off of the top. So I keep a little tag handy that I can just use to angle my corners. And they don't have to be angles necessarily either. They could be rounded. You could really do it any way that you want. But I'm going to cut my other card while I have my cutter up. Now this one again is a really long card with a really cute image. Now he does have the word joy here, but I'm going to trim him right above the O in joy. Lori, take an old credit card and cut the corners. Oh, that's a good idea. Thanks, Peggy. And I just think this little guy's so cute. So I'm just going to trim it here and see how it goes. So I can make a tag there and I can make a tag out of this one. At least that's my plan. All right. Now I know oi may be a word for some people, but I'm going to probably need to cover that up. So for right now, I have my little template here that I just put on each edge of my card and I snip. And I always have to twirl this around because I don't know why. It just makes it better in my works better in my brain. So I do my little corners. Like I say, I like to ink my edges. And I usually ink the back. I happen to like the angled. And I do have my chomper to punch my holes in, and I like to use the larger size. Now, I might end up not really using this, but I'm going to go ahead and trim this one anyway. Because, like I said, I like to put a lot of different fibers through the top and make them really full. So I'll use the large end of my chomper. Now, I want to make sure I've got this right. So I angle the right end of my tag. I'll just slide this over. And I just usually eyeball it too to pop my hole in. So I'm just going to take my little chomper tool and punch my holes. Of course, I always do several things at once instead of doing one at a time. And then I just pulled out some ribbons and some little Christmassy decoration type things. Anything that I thought that I might like to add to my cards or my tags. I keep saying cards because they are cards, but now they're going to be tags. And I'm using my tried and true Tim Holtz vintage photo ink. I'm just going to give my little tags here a little color. And then you always want to maybe do the back. Just grunge it up a little bit. And you can use different colors. Like you see on the Santa, I did a blue around him because I thought it went well with, the background. I just think he's such a handsome dude. All right. So, and some of the surfaces of your cards are slick, and you could really sand these, I guess, and get them really grungy. That's an idea. I haven't tried that. I should probably try that. See, as you get going here and you get yapping, you get thinking about some different things. Oh, look at this guy had another little picture on the back of him. And you can see there, see, I didn't get my hole very centered. But I mean, really, if somebody gets this on a package, are they going to call you up and say, hey, you didn't get your hole? No, just go ahead. Just don't let it bother you. Go ahead. Just create. So I'm just making my little edges. And I'm doing this quickly. You can put it down on your surface and really come sliding in from the side and do a much neater job than I'm doing. I always tend to forget that. So I'm going to see what I have in my little goodie bag here. Now this little fella here, let's start with this little fella. This little snowman. So I think I want some, I have some red tulle. I think I'm going to take a piece of that. You don't need much. Of course, you can always trim. So I'm just going to take a little snip of that. And I have this. It looks like little garland. I get this at Joann Fabric, and I always wait till the end of the season and go buy what they have left. They generally have no silver or gold left, but I usually can get red and green. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that. I think for this tag, I'm going to leave the wire in. Now, a lot of times I use this for my ornaments and my light bulbs, and I take the wire out because I don't know why, I just do. And then I think I'm going to take a little bit of, so we've got red, we've got green, and somewhere down here I have some, I guess you call it like sheer type. Oh, this might look cute. I just got this. Joann Fabric had a lot of stuff on clearance. And a lot of the ribbons, of course, were not available. I'm going to take a little piece of that red, white, and green ribbon. How cute is that? And again, I'm just eyeballing it. So then what I do is I just clump them all together. Make like a little bundle. This is why I want the larger hole. Actually, I could probably use even a bigger hole than what I normally have here. And then I usually need some kind of a pokey tool to stuff that down in there. But see, I like it really stuffed. And you can use hot glue. I've got my glue gun plugged in. But you can also use a stapler, like Beth used a stapler. And then I just fidget with it, you know, and adjust and fix it the way that I like. Now this ribbon from Joann Fabrics is really nice because the design is on both sides. And sometimes that's not the case with your ribbon. Now, it may not have been the best idea to leave the wire in here, but I want this to stand up and not flop around. So, once I get it the way I like it, I just peel it down where it separates, and then I pop in my hot glue. Now, you have to be careful because you don't want to hot glue your fingers. You might need to do it a few times. See, the little wires giving me a little bit of trouble. So I've got these little jewelry snips here that I keep at the ready. And then I'm going to go and sneak in some glue behind. Oh, sorry, Deborah. I get confused about those going live links and how all that works. I think I probably messed you up there. I apologize. Now I'm just going to trim these to the length that I want them. Now, of course, this little guy still has the J here that was joy. And so what I'll do is I'll just go in my little stash of these and see what might work. A little bit of holly is just not quite large enough. Oh, here, this might work. I have this little colored disc that just looks like he's holding a little Christmas ornament. So I'm just going to hot glue that on. Let me raise my camera up a little bit. Okay. And then I would go ahead and stamp my to and from on the back. And like I said, you could leave this blank or do it a different, personalize it, do it in person in your own handwriting. You don't necessarily have to use a stamp or have a stamp. So that's that guy. And let's go to this one. I just think that's beautiful. So this one I've got pretty much, I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it. I don't think this one needs really a whole lot. Let's see, I've got this ribbon. It's a pretty red. I'm going to go with a red theme. And then I've got today, I picked up some Jingle Bells at the dollar store, but it had this really small little, I don't even know what you call them, they're just like little tiny beads all connected together. So let me see if I can fashion those in there somehow. And I have this ribbon, this plaid ribbon, and I can cut this. This cuts very nicely, and it doesn't fray. So I'm going to cut a strip off of this. Get myself some more red and green in there. You can add jingle bells and all kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and put these ribbons in. I'll trim this. Well, I'm going to end up trimming it anyway. So let me put these two little ribbons in here. If we can get them to pull in. And I think what I want to do is maybe take just a little snip of this. These are just plastic. And I think if I lay these here, maybe I'll hot glue them in first. Hot glue this down. Hot glue that in place. And you can use other glue, but if you're, you know, I'm on a little time constraint here, so the hot glue works very well when you need to get something glued down very quickly. So I'm just going to add more hot glue on top of those little beads and make sure I'm in frame. And you have a few seconds before that glue really starts to tighten up on you. And then I've kind of got this one-sided, but that's okay. So we've got all the green and red on one side and all the red on the other. We've got our little red and green dangles. And then I think I'm going to take my Happy Holidays, perhaps. Oh, how about 'Tis the Season? I'd pre-stamped on a manila envelope. You could use cardstock. I don't know that I would use regular computer printer paper because I think you need something maybe a little more, with a little more stability. And I'm going to use my pop-up dots. I really don't cut very straight. But I'm going to go ahead and ink my edges. We'll see how this looks. I think I kind of like it there. Now I have found with adding pop-up dots, especially making things for craft fairs and like co-op and different things like that, that a lot of times they dry up and come off of your source. You know, they come off of the card. So generally what I'll do is I'll add hot glue on both ends, but tonight I'm just going to add the hot glue on the side that attaches to the card because it's got all that glitter there. It might be hard for a regular glue to stick for you. And then you just pull off your little glue strings. Then we have that one. This ready to go. And I'm not watching my time. 9:56. Thanks, Sharon. How am I on time, Mary? I know what time I started, but I didn't really put in my brain what time I'm supposed to end. Let's add some. Let's add some stuff to this. Let's see. I'm going to take another piece of this ribbon. I'm loving this ribbon here. Loving it. I have a hard time keeping track of my scissors. And I do love my sparkly red tool. And a lot of this stuff really, gets discounted towards the end. 10 minutes? Oh, cool. Towards the end of the season. So that's a good time, really, to gather up some goodies for the next season. And a lot of times they discount their red stuff, and you can use that for Valentine's stuff too, and 4th of July. So you can be aware of all that kind of stuff, and take advantage. Now on this one, I'm going to use my little stapler, my little Timmy staple gun, if I can determine where I set that. Oh, there he is. A little stapler looks just as cute. And then you want to just trim this down. I always tend to trim on an angle, but you can do what you like. I'm not crazy about the way that ribbon's flopping forward. And then you can always put a little brad if you have a little brad. Now, if you plan ahead, or a little pin. Let's see, what can we dangle from this little pin? I'm trying to get my fingers to work with me. This is just a little button. Let's see how this looks. It kind of looks cute. Maybe if I put it on the other way. Woo! Jumping bean button. Let's see. All right, there we go. Oh, that looks cute, girls and guys. What do you think? You could put a little bead on there, put a jingle bell. But the button looks cute. I have jingle bells. I should have put a jingle bell, but that looks cute too. So we've got that one. And let's see. Let's do the Santa. Now, I like the blue background. And I don't know if it'll be too over the top with this blue. Maybe we should do some, let's do a little piece of cheesecloth. And let's take a little piece of, this is an old piece of, I think this is an old piece of pillowcase. Now I think I want to grunge this up a little bit. So I'm just going to run it slightly across my Timmy ink pad. Give it a little bit of grunge. I could do that on my mat too. Might have gotten a little too grungy. I'm going to take a little piece of that. And let me see. This is more like a burlappy kind of ribbon. I'm going to take a little piece of this and see if I can get that all to fit through my little punched hole there. And my little pokey tool. Now you want to be careful here because you really could rip that card. And I'm really pushing the envelope, kids. Really pushing the envelope there. And then I'm just going to adjust it to the way I like. I'll try to pay better attention to, you might want to pay attention to how you layer it going in. See, I didn't pay attention to that, and I'm really not liking the way that that looks. So I think I want to do it this way. And yeah. So let's try that again. Sorry guys, I'm really not watching chat so much. You can twist and turn this as you need to. I think I'm turning that the wrong way. All right. So that doesn't look too bad. I think my red ribbon's giving me a little bit of fits here. And we'll go ahead and trim this. And I do have a few little jingle bells here. Let's do a couple little jingle bells, and then I'll need some narrow. So we've got some narrow red ribbon here. I'm going to put these little jingles on. Hopefully I can get them threaded. Oh, yes. Excellent. The first one went in really well. I'm not seeing this one as clearly. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to tie this little, make this a little loop. And tie it. Sometimes I'm real stingy with things, and the ribbon, I should have made it a little longer and made it easier on myself. But let's see if I can now push this through my little opening. I didn't want it too big because I don't want it to hang down too low. I didn't get my red in there. Get my trusty little tweezers to come to my aid. "25 seconds. All right. Well, this has been fun. I hope you've gotten some ideas. Oh, that's really hanging down in Santa's face. Well, I'm going to have to adjust that. But you get the idea. There's a lot of fun things you can do with your leftover Christmas cards. Meri is up next. Make sure you go on and hop over to her channel, and she'll end out the night for us. Thanks for joining us. It's been fun. And have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then. Night all. I think I'll just take that off, perhaps.